Hey nerders, for today's assignment, we're celebrating a special birthday. The good doctor's birthday is this Saturday, so we're going to be making Cat in the Hat, but creepy. It's Seuss time.
Yeah.
Getting started on the good doctor's creepy gift, we're going to be shaping out his body with some good old armature wire from Michaels. I want to call out the inspiration for this week's project, as I always wanted to make something Seuss related, and Asa Clay's macabre Grinch from a few holidays ago was just a kick in the rear that I needed. I'll leave the link in the description box below, feel free to check it out. Once I have his featured shoulders and arms locked with foil wire, I drizzle a decent amount of oven baked clay adhesive all across his shoulders and part of his torso, then I'll add a decent amount of Super Sculpey Ultralight to build out his framework. Now you may notice I didn't use foil on the sculpt this week, and I don't have a direct reason why, outside of I just felt Ultralight would be enough for this upper body. That said, if you are more comfortable with foil, please use whatever you're accustomed to, and know it's okay to test your waters from time to time as well. It's all about finding your comfort zone, and then sometimes challenging it to expand upon it. Once I'm set with his body, let's try to spin on some clay. Pretty sure this turntable's defective. Anyway, now let's get to the fun part of adding on all the Super Sculpey in the original. As you may have noticed, his right arm is a tad longer than normal, as it's going to also double as an umbrella. Another brilliant idea that I totally hijacked. I took inspiration from Asa Clay as well. While you watch me continue this entire process, I want to touch on Cat in the Hat and why he's my absolute favorite Dr. Seuss character, who should be given a certified written apology for absolutely destroying his biography in 2003. Jumping right into it, it's the way he teaches lessons is at the highest key level of toxicity, with complete utter madness and chaos as a side dish. It's passive aggressive in a way that I have not seen since Bugs Bunny cartoons in the early 60s, when I obviously was born. But anyway, he's legit a tornado that smiles. I show up, I kinda destroy your life, and as long as you learn a lesson about it and we all have fun, you really can't be mad at me or file any form of complaints or suits against me. This was no more apparent than a TV show that was long forgotten, but it's still beloved to this day, The Wubbulous World of Dr. Seuss, which aired at 8 p.m. on Nickelodeon some Monday nights. The episode I'm directly speaking on is episode 6 of season 1, which is called The Slimpifier, where this black and white psychopath, acting as a door-to-door salesman, shows up and sells this device called the Simplifier, that basically takes over this family's house with the promise it's going to deliver everything you want in life. The kids had to beg the man to push the button to make the device work. And what pisses off the cat is he finally pushes the button, and look what happens. The entire device inverts on itself. Thousands and thousands of dollars are gone out their home, and this is what made the life simple. You don't need this device. But the cat sold it to the dad anyway. But outside of all of that, this is the part that really is just the touch of the cake. See how happy the family is? The cat's reaction to this is, oh hey, the device worked, as promised, and walks away.
Fool this man!
Seriously, if Abel wasn't a famous singer and just a personified animal, he would be Cat in the Hat. Anyway, now that we have the upper body clayed for the most part, he's going to need his world-famous legs and long triangle toeless feet. As I said earlier, this cat has to be creepy, and nothing's creepier to me than throwing man boobs on a personified feline. What kinda made it worse for me though, is at this juncture with his chest and body, I started getting Supreme Mac and Me vibes, which was a movie that came out when I was a kid. I was completely traumatized by. But once I made an emergency call to my therapist, I decided I am stronger than my fears, most of them, and I just kept moving. In case you're wondering, the answer is no, never, never in a million years am I ever sculpting Mac. After the belly gets a button, I truncate 2.5 hours of tedious fur sculpting down to a handful of enjoyable moments for your entertainment. Once the fur detail is to my liking, I'm going to add small patches of cross-clay and medium firm to serve as fur patches across random areas of his frame, specifically his arms, chest, and parts of his legs. Mr. Toxic then's going to get a bake, and once he's cured, we're going to go ahead and make his head out of a small ball of aluminum foil and Super Sculpey and Original. So I needed a good reference image for my head, and while at first I was just terrified on what's allowed on Google these days unrestricted, I was happy to find something wholesome enough to serve my purposes. Now, I know a lot of people have noticed I've been just dodging around this dead horse has already been bludgeoned, but now I'm going to add some kicks to it. The 2003 live adaptation of this character is firmly in the top 10 worst movies I've ever seen in my life. This was a complete, disgusting use of Dr. Seuss's property. In case you were ever wondering, this film is the exact reason why there's never been a live-action adaptation of any Dr. Seuss character, because his late wife would never allow any studio to attempt another one. I have so much bad things to say about this movie, and yes, while we have had CGI adaptations, which they've all been fine, this movie has firmly cemented something that is just not seen in Hollywood. I have so much bad things I could say about it, and I'm so mad that I lost a coupon that I used to even see this movie that I can't get back, and I've written several times to try to get it back. I'm just going to leave it with this. The film sucked, everything sucked about it, the film shouldn't exist, everything was cool until this movie got made, I wish it didn't exist, end of story. Once his face is to my comfort level of weird, I take some floral wire and shape out some whiskers, and then punch them into his face. And just for reference, the eyes in his teeth this week are made from Cernet translucent clay and white. It's great stuff. Unlike the 2003 film Cat in the Hat, which is on dead chocolate milk level. After another hour of applying fur to his head and neck to blend everything in, it's time my non-2003 version gets his coveted hat. For his hat, I'm making it with aluminum foil and some Super Sculpey Ultralight. I'm doing it this way to avoid the sculpt becoming top heavy in the oven while it's baking. Once I have the Ultralight covered, I spent some time adding some fabric textures with my sculpting tool, and just because I can't leave well enough alone, I'm going to use some of my spikes that I made from weeks ago to add to his hat, just to add to the creepy, conventional method that I'm trying to make for my sculpt this week. Then once he's baked in the oven at 275 degrees for about 30 more minutes, he's finally cooled down, and we can move on to painting, starting with some matte black all across his back, arms, legs, and also part of his neck and hands. The paint job for this week was pretty standard to stay true to the core of the original design. Much easier than having to sit through a screening of the 2003 disaster Cat in the Hat starring Michael Myers, but I digress. This version is going to get his tummy, man boobs, also known as moobs, all painted white, followed by his hands and also his face. As you may have noticed off camera, I did make him a tail, which is made out of cosplay medium firm, and I just want to acknowledge a mistake made for not recording it, and also apologize. And I also just want to show specific parties that might be watching this, it is okay to admit your mistakes and your wrongdoing and own up to it. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked. I start painting his umbrella and hat as titular red, as well as the trim of the base. Once the red is dry, I hand paint straight matte white to clean up some of the stripes. I don't want his umbrella or hat to be perfect, but I do have standards on how I handle a beloved property for mass audience consumption, and don't want to be embarrassed. I dry brush a decent amount across his tail and also his torso, just to bring out those details I spent so much time making. I also wanted to do a subtle tribute to Thing 1 and Thing 2, so I used some blue metallic ink and spread it across the top of the base, and once it's dry enough, I'm going to use standard PVA glue to glue our friend into his forever home. To add some realism, I wanted the umbrella to appear as if it was just used, so I'm taking some top coat clear nail polish and dabbing it across the umbrella to make it look like raindrops. As this is drying, I move on to the last level of Croup this week by giving his eyes his mismatched pupils, which reminded me so much of Weasel from the last Suicide Squad film. Then once everything is dried and in place, I'm deciding we need another trip to the Never Place and letting the sky shine. I know I can sound like a broken record at times, but truly, I had so much fun making this sweet sculpture, and I hope you all enjoyed my way of commemorating the good doctor's birthday. If you did enjoy this video, feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and then set bell notifications for all future updates. If you're watching this the weekend of his birthday, I hope you all find a way of commemorating it in your own way. Until then, take care, stay blessed, and believe in yourself, and we'll see you next time, folks. Cat in Hat 2003 sucks. Okay, bye!